Hey everybody, I was looking for vintage memes on old hard disks the other day, only to find what can be considered the lost bad gear episode on a forgotten piece of gear. I didn't age a day. Enjoy! Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. In a time like ours when
material needs no longer exist,
in music production,
accumulation of things
seems to have become more important than ever. Today we are going to talk about Novation Drumstation. While today's synth clones are mostly used for home studio decoration, this 1996 drum machine and shameless Roland TR-808 and 909 ripoff was more or less the only affordable way to actually tweak the iconic drum sounds. Simpler times. At the first glance, Drumstation is ticking all the leave a comment if you know a way how to make 19-inch gear look good on TikTok boxes. One sequencer-less U promising a groovy 808 kit. And somewhat punchy 909 drum hit is littered with a reasonable amount of knobs for tweaking parameters, which surprisingly didn't lead to a lawsuit back when Roland still seemed to care. Unfortunately, the most important sound, the 808 cowbell, shares its controls with other percussive tones like clap and a rim shot. Speaking of compromises that needed to be made in spite of both kits being available at the same time via Midi and basic chromatic playing of sounds was made possible years before funk was a thing. There are mysterious polyphony limits depending on the sounds you're currently playing. In contrast to the mostly analog TRs, Drumstation is fully digital, and 90s marketing buzzwords aside, there is plenty of circumstantial evidence that we are deep in Rompler territory. Front cut lets you trim the front end of your drums, and some of the presumably synthesized components cancel out almost too accurately when doing a phase test. The additional parameters not included in the originals, like 808 snare pitch, are much appreciated though. Knobby interfaces are always welcome. Minimalist vintage menu wastelands with minuscule displays, not so much. Yes, MIDI channel selection and recall of entire kits works like a charm, but I had to RTFM to make sense of the very old school program write process, and chances are that you're going to spend more time in the slightly convoluted utility menu than you originally intended. That being said, the distortion effect fits contemporary hard tech nicely. There are comparably deep velocity-based modulation options more than capable of mimicking good old TR accent, and the panning parameter directly leads us to what is probably the greatest feature of the machine: multiple outputs. This is also where another not-so-irrelevant quirk of the instrument rears its ugly head. Drum stations are notoriously noisy. Although this is oftentimes attributed to the subpar original power supply, I wasn't able to mitigate the early 2000s downtown Hanoi aircon-like noise floor by using identically spec'd models, and neither adding transformers nor using different preamps helped much. The Audition and auto trigger features are great for fine-tuning sounds, Din sync out is a nice touch, and the built-in demos are cute. cosmetics aside, I've yet to find definitive information on the differences between version 1, 2 and the D station, but given the current prices of both, a used TR-8 and Uli's finest, all three might be a tough sell. In a world of 19-inch racks, early groove boxes and Atari's, Drumstation was probably the most convenient way to integrate fully tweakable TR sounds in a setup. Does it still have its place in a social media-driven dance music landscape? You have already heard the drum synth in today's intro tune. Have these minimalist versions become canon yet? I wanna know if the 808 side of the machine can keep up with the original. This was surprisingly nice. Admittedly, gain staging is like walking a tightrope between noise floor and internal clipping, but even without real mixing, the sounds sit well in the arrangement. Let's give the multiple outputs a go, test drive the built-in distortion and add a few historically accurate synths. That wasn't so bad either. The distorted sounds remain punchy, and as long as the drum hits are buried in a mix, you can't hear the even higher noise floor caused by the added compression. In spite of its generous UI, Drumstation is far away from being a one knob per function instrument, and I was tweaking a lot of wrong parameters. Time for a longer sound design session, which resulted in me asking myself, how many more notes do I have to put in there until it doesn't sound minimalist anymore? 809 celebration. Verdict: Drumstation is digital, noisy, and the utilitarian form factor from a time when clones were cool will most probably not improve your Insta swag or online synth group social credit score. However, regardless of its many flaws, I have to admit that I like it quite a bit. The sweet spots are wide, the tones are musical and easy to fit in a mix, and although the workflow is clunky at times, I wouldn't mind using it in a studio or live scenario. More modern takes on the subject are doubtlessly superior in many ways, but chances are that instruments like the Drumstation were used for making music people actually listened to. Thanks for watching and see you next time! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and use one of the links down below that support the channel regardless of what your bad gear gas commands you to buy.